Minions have spawned.
Okay, how about now?
No audio, only video. Okay,
Oh my
goodbye.
god. Oh my god. Okay, well that's really
Sad.
awkward. Now as we have an invade or a duel between the two junglers here, going to be that Shen coming down with the taunt flash, able to pick up first blood on to Kinuhara here. And the early jungle duel will be won by Chili's Angels. Udyr and Shen taking advantage of the lack of priority and presence coming out from Kayle in the early game. Apologies, ladies and gentlemen. I promise you we were talking the whole time, but apparently my OBS is just griefing me today. You guys should be able to hear everything now. So, in summation, Udyr does Udyr things, able to run and stun and kill Nocturne.
I thought I would never say this, but it's a top gap from Rahul with that flash E. Amazing.
Oh my goodness, Ryan.
Oh, that's GM.
Let's keep it civil on the cast, okay? I think you guys still have a game to play, no?
I believe so. I mean, I'm excited to play against him.
Yeah, I bet you,
know.
are.
Yep. I gotta. I can't end like
We are
that.
starting to see a bit of inexperience from Charles coming out in the jungle, though, right? Like after doing the first crab, he should have run directly down through mid lane to go kill the second crab. He still gets it anyway, but that was an opportunity for Kinuhara to try and equalize that. You know, because Kinuhara expected Udyr to do that, Udyr doesn't get punished for it. But it's one of those small things that you want to see them clean up for future games, and I think it's going to be fine now. He already got the first blood. He's already well ahead of the curve. The question now is, what does he do with it? Can he continue to find Nocturne? Can he find more of Nocturne's camps? Because if he doesn't, this game can go long, and we know what Kayle can do.
Yep. And Nocturne here, definitely a lot of power in that level 6. I know, I was watching Charles Jungle try to give him some tips, and one thing that I mentioned with Udyr is your level 6 does nothing for you, right? Whereas a lot of junglers, their level 6 defines their early to mid game. So with the tempo lead advantage against this Nocturne, I would really like to see him mix it up with Nocturne in his topside jungle, and looks like he's well on his way to do just that. Should be able to find Nocturne here at his Gromp, and we're going to see again what happens in the duel of the junglers. Bearman gonna run in
Yep.
here. Fear gonna come in,
Better
but
call.
needs to be careful. Smite gonna be won by Nocturne in the end, so the invade does not come into fruition for Udyr, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think it was a bit miscommunicated between Rahul and Charles. There's definitely an opportunity where they could have moved together and it would have been more effective. But like, it's not costing them anything, right? Charles is still ahead in terms of tempo on the map. His camps are going to be respawning a little bit faster than those of Kinuhata. But it is a thing where like they are still on a clock. Zillion support doesn't scale faster than it would in the mid lane, so it is going to be a little bit difficult for them to get to this late game fantasy of this Udyr. So it's okay. They're still winning, but it is one of those things that, you know, I consider Chili's Angels the second best macro team in the tournament that I would hope that they can clean up in the future.
Yeah. And meanwhile, it is. Oh, hold on. We have
Nice.
a kill in
Nice.
the bot lane as Nocturne going to go by, able to pick up Ashe here. Although Kai'Sa did go down first, so it ends up being a trade of 80 carries here in the bot lane. Not really sure how that got started. I think I accidentally clicked on Udyr. But now Udyr going to be able to find Nocturne. Going to be a duel of the junglers yet again. Fear going to cancel out the stun coming in from the bear stance. But Udyr with the level advantage able to bully Nocturne off the crab. And we'll see here if Udyr has the confidence to start on the dragon. Looks like he does.
It's interesting. They don't have Prio in the bottom lane.
But at the same time, Jesse team does not have vision, so it could be a sneak dragon. I think they doing
Now
it
though,
very
the
well.
control ward does come down. I don't think Nocturne is interested in getting this mix up, but ooh, that could have been a potential
Ooh,
steal
so
coming
close.
in from the final spark. It will not end up coming through. So, Infernal Dragon here going to be picked up by Udyr and Chili's Angels.
Yep. Good. They're rewarded for their play. Rahul is still up in the top lane. He has a small advantage. So overall, I still think they're in a pretty decent spot because they have a lot of champions that come online around the 1 item mark, right? You just need one on Udyr, one on Zyra, one on Ashe, and all these champions are really strong.
Right.
Whereas Kale still won't be there yet. So I think they still have a lot of play left in this game before Mark Jess is going to have an opportunity to take over the game. And now instead of looking at Udyr, I'm really going to be looking at Beakro to be making a lot of plays on the map, as well as Kinuhata, because both of them have these massive engage ultimates that are going to, as you said, define what they're going to be doing for the next several
Hold on,
minutes.
speaking of
There it
engage,
is.
Ultimate is going to be an engage in the bot lane coming in. The Paranoia going to try to find his way onto Nocturne, but I think the Fear went onto a minion.
And Ashe arrow got blocked by
Yeah.
spell shield.
Good point there, Ryan. It will mean that at the end of the day, nothing dies, but a couple of
What
huge
does Chili do?
cooldowns expended. And looks like Udyr here going to take this opportunity to take the Blast Cone over the wall into the Rift Herald pit. Going to be a potential gank onto Kale. Here we go. Going to be a flash coming in from Udyr. Going to be matched by the flash from Kale to get her under the tower. So trade of flashes top for jungler. Let's see if Udyr here can come back and punish. And meanwhile, let's see if he also is aware that Nocturne is not at his blue buff just yet. Nope. Gonna meanwhile take the Rift Herald instead.
Yeah, there's a lot of teams not finding the punishes for their opponent's mistakes right now, and ultimately, like, because neither team is really doing it, it's kind of a wash, but you are seeing, as we already identified, the difference in clear speeds in the junglers, right? Udyr is just so much faster that he's been able to clear camps, and he had to have taken some of his opponent's camps at some point, I think, because he doesn't have the timers don't make sense if he picked them up on his own. But it's definitely a situation where, like, if he had just cleared out Nocturne's blue side of the map right here, and then gone to do the Rift Herald, it probably would have been a
The
little
exact
bit
same
better.
result,
But
yeah.
again, they still get, yeah, they still get everything they're looking for. So I'm still happy with where they're at, and they still have tools because the Ashe ult is faster cooldown than the Nocturne.
Right. Yeah. I think, you know, if it's his first time in the role, at least on stage anyways, I think there's a little bit of nervousness involved with, you know, you don't want to overextend here in an invade and just throw your lead. So I understand a little bit of this cautious approach. But as it stands here, if you think about the fact that Nocturne got double crabbed, which translates to an ACS difference, it means that Nocturne has been keeping pace with Udyr since level 4, where he did go down in the top river. And in general, we're seeing both Kale and Nocturne keep pace with Shen and Udyr, who are favored in their respective matchups. So if you don't worry we scale, you take a lot of comfort in the fact that you do have scaling coming through.
Yeah, this is actually a really good opportunity here. Rahul isn't getting pushed in, bot lane is in the bottom lane, so this could be a really cool dive opportunity, but it doesn't look like they're necessarily going to do that. They have Zilean ult, Shen ult, which makes it incredibly easy to go for these dives, but it doesn't look like they're necessarily going to use the window, as Charles is just now coming down. They still have enough minions. I think they can still do this.
I think they're predicting a Paranoia coming in. They're trying to bait the Paranoia to come down. Looks like there it is. Udyr going to be showing up. It means that Nocturne going to get right out of there. Now Rell going to jump back in, but now going to be going down here. And it looks like with the Stand United, with the Chrono Shift, it will mean that Nocturne goes down as well. So a masterful bait being set up by Chili's Angel is going to translate to a double kill so far. But now Udyr needs to be careful. Going to need the life binding, but there is not enough damage. And now Team Pro's going to get just a little bit too close to the Shen taunt. Looks like though Ashe not in position to really get the Rangers' focus auto attacks over the top. At the end of the day, it will mean though that Lux is out both of her summoners as well.
Yeah,
I think that when both Shen and Zilean used both their ult on Udyr, it was a little bit overdone, because if you're gonna use Zilean ult, you would expect it to proc, but then Shen ult is kind of counterproducing it. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's not the worst thing in the world though.
It's still good though. Yeah. The big thing that I like there is the fact that they saw the play that we were talking about and executed on it. Like, there's a confidence there that we don't often see at this level of play, and I really like that that's something they've been able to do. I really wish they had all backed away. So this is something that, honestly, Andyland does better than every other team, is we identify when we need to back in order to get on the map at the right time. So they killed everybody in the bottom lane with 50-ish seconds before the dragon spawn. That means they had about a 10-second window to all back and then get to the dragon on time.
Oh, going to be a flash engage coming in from Zyra. But Zyra going to go very, very low here. I don't think the Chrono Shift is available, which will mean that Nocturne picks up his first kill of the game, but will be picked up by the Zyra plants in return. Unfortunately, Rell now going to flash into the Grim Tana Crystal Arrow, which means that she'll go down, and Udyr going to pick up a double kill as Lux ends up getting breathed on by the Phoenix stance, which will again translate to another dragon picked up by Chili's Angels.
Yeah, they're doing everything they need to right now. Chili's Angels is looking really good on the macro level. The only thing now is, like, how does Don't Worry We Scale like actually catch up? They're really reliant on finding a lot of these picks, which their composition is really good at doing. This comes to where I mentioned, like, this composition is hard to play. They now have to be even better at finding people who are out of position, where they need to find all this vision control that they haven't been able to do so far.
Right. Yeah, I want to go back a little bit to that earlier play in the bot lane. This is something I really like coming in from Charles especially. I've given him a lot of talks about how to play against Nocturne, because to be completely honest, it's pretty straightforward to set up a Nocturne bait by just having your bot lane play like complete idiots. And they were able to do just that, overextend in air quotes. As the Paranoia came through, Udyr pops out of the bush, Nocturne immediately runs away, and they were able to turn that around. So we'll see if that ends up being the case as the game goes on, if Chili's Angels can bait Nocturne into even more awkward paranoias, or if Kinohara here can be a little bit more judicious with his ultimates and recognize... Hold on, gonna be an arrow! Oh my goodness, so a little bit of a light in the darkness here for Don't Worry We Scale, courtesy of a pick from Petros onto Ashe in the mid lane.
Yep, that's another way they can do it. Petros can just pop off, right? You guys said it was one of her best champions, and if they can find things like that, especially against isolated members without a Zilean around, they can do that over and over again. The scary thing is going to be when Zilean's ultimate is on the same or lower cooldown than Lux ultimate later in the game.
Well, Lux ultimate cooldown goes pretty low, right? Does Zilean cooldown get similarly low? Hold on, gonna be a Chem Tank running towards Kayle in the top lane. Flash not gonna put her in turret range just yet. Will mean the taunt comes through as well. There is the Judgment coming in, which will buy some time for Kayle, and Udyr gonna go very low, gonna flash away from the turret, and out with the Stand United will be able to live through this turret dive coming in from Chili's Angel. So once again, good pressure coming in from the jungle for Chili.
Yep. This is what I said, right? Ease of execution. Like, this is a composition that knows what it wants to do, and it has a bunch of champions that like. This isn't a knock on them, but these champions are not mechanically difficult to play, and so they're able
Right.
to do everything they want relatively simply. So I really like this draft overall, and the window for like Lux and Nocturne to be effective is rapidly closing.
Right. Yeah, Nocturne definitely needs to not fall too far behind, as you know the assassin playstyle is not gonna work when you can't kill anybody. So we'll see here if again he's able to find a good paranoia. He did use the paranoia when Ashe went down in the mid lane, so unfortunately did not have that as a counter gank option when Kale did get dove there. But we'll have it coming up very, very soon, so need to be careful. And Kale, meanwhile, going to ding level 11 as well. Could represent a potential comeback avenue for Don't Worry We Scale.
Yeah, we'll see. I also look it up. Final Spark goes down to 40 seconds with no CDR. Zillion's ult goes down to 60 seconds with no CDR. But Zillion tends to build more CDR, so it shouldn't ever be shorter than Lux's, but it should be pretty comparable, and
Right.
you're not going to find opportunities to ult on cooldown as Lux.
Definitely. And, you know, they also do have one Clown Dragon in their pocket, so that'll shave a couple of seconds off as well. Should be fun to keep an eye on the chrono shifts here. We saw Zillion get used to good effect by Pokecard in some of their games when bruisers who generally have a problem getting kited, like Udyr and Nasus, have a Zillion speeding them up. It's really a lot for the enemy team to deal with. So we haven't really seen Udyr and Zillion link up just yet this game, but should see a lot more of that as we prepare for the third dragon of the game. It will be an Ocean Soul, so Don't Worry We Scale really need to start picking up at least a couple of these, or else they're not going to have the damage to punch through Udyr and Shen.
Oh.
Now though, Nocturne gonna walk in. Meanwhile, gonna be a stand unite coming in from Udyr, but the paranoia gonna come through as well. But there is that chrono shift. It's gonna mean that Udyr should be able to stand up through the rest of this damage. The resurrect will come through. Rel gonna be overextended as well. Gonna get the double bomb. Gonna be stunned up. Kale is here. Gonna try to turn this around, but is only level 11 and gonna be locked up by the Zyra snare as well. Going to mean that she goes down. A late entrant to the fight. Going to mean that it's going to be a 3-4-0 in favor of Chili's Angels as well as Ocean Soul Point.
Yeah.
They Chili Angel is playing their comp perfectly the way it should
Hold on,
be.
Killer Instinct going to be used into the mid lane, going to dodge out from the knockup. No, going to dodge from the snare, but not from the knockup. One more auto from Kaisa, but oh, now needs to be careful because there's a very, very fast bear man. Let's see if the punch comes. No, okay, the light binding going to dissuade Udyr from that one. So, going to be a solo kill here for Hayo FTW on to Zyra in the mid lane, but crucially did blow Flash to pick that one up.
Yeah, Chili Angel playing their comp really well, like how they managed to like utilizing that Ashe arrow to open combat and everything. Like that fight was just amazing, but then Ikuzi kind of overstepped being in mid lane, so yeah.
Ikuji's kind of been known to do that. Yeah, I think it's all right though, right? Like Zyra was just a way for them to bridge some of this early game that they needed, because at this point Zyra, she presses E, Q, R, and that's really about it, right? You're not likely to get a second rotation from Zyra. Yeah, exactly. You know, you got your one stun jobs done, you got your Ikuji pressing R, and as long as you can keep somebody alive, yeah, then you're good. Like you're all done.
We're also seeing here, I think compositionally, the challenge for Don't Worry We Scale is their only champion capable of really face checking into Fog of War is this Rel, who's obviously not the most mobile of champions, which means that, as we saw there, when Nocturne was walking into the team composition from Chili's Angels, just got absolutely shredded. And Udyr and Shen have the confidence in both their tankiness and the Zillion get out of jail free card as well. It's going to mean that this Vision War is going to be really hard to play from Don't Worry We Scale.
Yeah, they don't have a whole lot of time, right?
Mhm.
Like normally we look at games where Ocean Soul comes up as
Mhm.
if whoever gets the Ocean Soul kind of automatically wins. That is especially true this game, right? Where it's already going to take a long time to grind down individual members.
Mhm.
It's going to become impossible once the Ocean Soul goes over. If it does go over to Chili's Angels, and they've been consistently finding fights before the dragon spawn and consistently having people at the objectives before their opponents do. So
Mhm.
we're gonna have to see if like Petros can find another pick about 30 seconds before the next dragon spawns, because I think that's really about the only way they find a 5v4 that will be enough to potentially stall this dragon take from coming through.
Yeah. As you take a look here, going to be a 3-man push in the top lane. Will be successfully pushed away from by Kale. Meanwhile, we're going to see the mid-game Shen cause havoc in the side lanes as well. Rel and Kaisa going to be on Shen duty here in the bot lane. And if you're Don't Worry We Scale, you gotta really, again, be judicious. See if you can find a choice Nocturne ultimate onto a Zyra or an Ashe, just solo farming a side lane, and get that ball rolling on the pick comp that they do have set up here.
Yeah, they're trying to reclaim some vision control, which will make it a little bit easier, but you do need to get that vision into the river, and as we already talked about, it's not easy for them to even walk into the river, because the only person who can do so is this Rel, and as they continue to get pushed in,
Hold on, gonna be a Paranoia used into the Ashe in the top lane, gonna be a Kale on top of her as well.
Okay.
I really like this usage coming out. The Kale, or the Ashe gonna be rezzed by Zilean shortly, but now there's an Udyr on site, and look at the Stand United. Oh my goodness. Ashe gonna get the VIP treatment coming in. Ashe will eventually go down to the final spark, but Petro's gonna try to flash away to no avail. The Udyr right on top of that one means that the initial gauge from Don't Worry We Scale gets turned around. 3 members gonna go down, only Ashe being picked up for Don't Worry We Scale. That's just
look
tough.
at this, the back timings coming out are perfect, right? You want about 40 seconds left on the back timers before you leave. There's 40 seconds left on the timer now. They're all getting their backs through, so they should be in a perfect spot. And crucially, while there's not going to be a lot of ults, there's not going to be a Stand United available, there's not going to be an Enchanted Crystal Arrow available to Chili's Angels, there's not going to be the Paranoia up for Kinohara either. So he's not going to be in a spot where he can use that to get into the pit. He's not going to be able to use that to dive onto anyone. And so this should basically be the game wrapping up pretty soon, as Chili's Angels should be able to pick up the Ocean Soul.
Yeah, that started out well for Don't Worry We Scale, but I think it's just a little bit of too little too late. But they were able to execute that combo maybe a little bit earlier on in the game before Shen plus Zilean are just really so oppressive. That's got to be the most frustrating thing to go. Hold on, gonna be engaged now onto Nocturne. Nocturne's gonna go very low here. Gonna try to flash safety. Final Spark is coming over the top though. Ashe gonna eat the Chrono Shift, and meanwhile Rel will be the first casualty of this fight. But Kale is online here. There's gonna be a Killer Instinct over the top. Try to find the Shen. It will be a trade of top laners, but there is meanwhile still a deficiency in the form of supports. Rel going down here will mean that, hold on, now going to be a Zyra flashing in, going to be spell shielded. Actually, Nocturne going to be able to turn this one around with a couple more auto attacks. Good play coming in from Kinuhara. This dragon is going very, very low. Does have the blast code available, but not going to be able to hit it in time, and the Ocean Soul will be picked up by Chili's Angels. Now Kaisa needs to run for the hills. The Udyr is going to try to run in here. No. Okay, so that will be all she wrote for that one. At the end of the day, ends up being a 2-for-2, but Chili's Angels able to pick up the all-important Ocean Soul, which should snowball them into the victory. But, you know, it is League of Legends. Anything can happen.
Yeah. I really like this coming out. Chili's Angels are actually like putting their best foot forward, and they're consistently being in the right spot. They definitely wanted to take the fight before the dragon spawned and didn't not risk a 50-50 smite between Chili and Kinuhara, so they were able to find the fight first. They were able to lock down crucial targets, and even though Rahul ended up overstepping a little bit towards the end, they find a decisive enough fight. Ikuji was able to trade his life to guarantee the Ocean Soul, and you're going to take that every day, right? If you can take away the Paranoia so you can't get over the wall. Again, Ikuji's done his job. It's not flashy, but he's doing what he needs to in order to make this Zyra effective.
Definitely, yeah. Those plants really add up in damage, especially now that both the Liandry's Anguish and the Demonic Embrace have been picked up. You really don't notice until all of a sudden your health is just burning away. as you walk through those thorny plants on your way to try to pick up an Ashe or a Zyra or even a Zilean. And even when you do make it through the thicket, you have the Chrono Shift over the top. So it's just been a frustrating game, I think. I would be frustrated if I was on the side of Don't Worry We Scale trying to pick out one of these switching targets. Alright, Baron though going to be started here down to about 4,000. Teleport coming in from Shen. DPS stop for now, going to be now resumed by Chili's Angels. Going to go down here very, very low. Paranoia coming in over the top. Let's see if the steal comes in. The final strike coming over the top. No, going to be a Baron stick taken away by Udyr here, but now going to be Ashe picked up. And the Chrono Shift does get used on Zyra, so now Kayle going to go down though, and this Ocean Soul is just going to be too much to overcome. Stand United going to go down onto, I don't even know, it doesn't matter. Going to be a double kill for Zyra, and at the end of the day, Chili's Angels come out with the 4-for-1 plus the Baron buff. There are already minions here in the top lane. I think even with these relatively low death timers, should be more than enough for Chili's Angels to come away with the victory in this game.
But on the bright side, they finally assassinated Ashe, right?
True.
They've been trying that the whole game, but they finally got it.
Yeah.
Worth.
Shout out to Rohit, I think. Definitely offers himself as the sacrificial lamb on multiple occasions in this game. It's meant that Don't Worry We Scale really had to overcommit for the Ashe. And then when the Zilean bombs came through, when the Stand United came through, it was just so hard for them to peel off this Bruiser front line. Meanwhile, though, going to potentially be a couple of kills picked up here for Kayle. Zyra root not going to land, means that Zyra is now actually taking up turrets here. This is going to be a very, very awkward escape coming in from Chili's Angels. Looks like Shen will be the sacrificial lamb. And now the Paranoia going to come out. I don't think they have vision of anybody, unfortunately, though. The Paranoia... There is Ashe now walking over a ward, but it looks like the Paranoia does run out just in time. And now there is both a top lane inhibitor as well as an exposed Nexus in favor of Chili's Angels.
They did get Ashe last time.
They did get Ashe
for that, but at this point, here's the thing, Roger, that I really want to see teams in this tournament understand. You don't actually, if you're winning like this, you don't actually want to fight for the Elder Dragon. You do not want to give your opponents any chance to smite that away from you. So you do not actually want to hit this unless you see multiple members of the opposing team top lane so that you can turn and fight them. We saw that Chili's Angels were considering turning and fighting that last one. They weren't able to do it in a super effective way. So now as the Elder Dragon becomes the major objective on the map, I want to see if they can use this to pull Don't Worry We Scale out of the base, but not actually fight for the dragon. They just want to take the fight while they wait for the super minions in the top side of the map to eventually start hitting the Nexus, because there are no towers left defending the blue side of the map.
Yep. And Shen... Oh, actually, I was going to say Shen might have teleport, but he does not. But yeah, if you Don't Worry We Scale, you can't really get out of your base too far towards the bot side because there are those pushing super minions. And now the Nocturne going to walk in here, and Enchanted Crystal Arrow over the top going to mean that the Judgment gets used relatively early. Rell going to try to suck in as many people as possible. Look at this Udyr just doing so much work. Going to be zoning away both the Kai'Sa and the Kayle. Udyr going to go over aggressive here, though, going to take up a ton of tower shots. Rell will fall. Looks like going to be 2 kills early on for Chili's Angels in this team fight. And now it's going to be the Ocean Soul regen coming back into play here. And yeah, we talked about this in the early game. When Udyr gets ahead, there's just nothing that you can do to bring this man down. With the power of nature, should be able to lead the charge into the base and pick up the win.
Oh, that Udyr is just eating up damage like breakfast. I don't know, man.
Okay, now gonna be Zyra flashing in over the Lux binding, and Lux is gonna go gold and gonna meet the taunt over the top. We'll go down here, might try to farm the Kayle for another KD8 boost, but no. And when all is said and done, this job is done for Chili's Angels. Good display here against Don't Worry We Scale. GG. Oof. Okay, so let's see if we can show you guys a little bit what happened in the early game that you guys didn't get to see courtesy of some technical difficulties. We apologize for that. A relatively stale early game outside of this duel between the junglers at the top Scuttle Crab. So keep an eye on this one. Udyr and Nocturne finding each other, both, giving each other the bro fist. But Shen, unfortunately, gonna not let this be a 1v1 with the taunt flash coming in, able to pick that one up. And that really was all that happened early game. But it was about what is expected. Udyr with the early game advantage, able to translate it into just objective pressure, and all in all, just going to be a good macro game, I think, more than anything coming out from Chili's Angels.
If I share my screen, would you be able to put it up?
Yep.
Because there's something I kind of want to look at for people,
Sure.
and especially Chili's Angels, because I know I talked to Rahul a lot, but there's something about the way they were doing this Baron that I think, if every team can start doing this and we get to see a little bit more cohesion from the rest of the teams in the Do It Big, I think it'll, elevate a lot of teams. This is something that Andyland does pretty well. Not to toot our own horn, but something that we've been working on really hard recently about how we approach the Baron, Elder Dragon, these major objectives, especially later in the game. So let me know when you're in and have it up so I can go over it a little.
Okay, give me one moment here. Gonna have to pop it out. Move it over here. Full screen it. And then... Alright, go for it.
All right, cool. So I don't want to surprise anyone. I think, yeah, so Shen's ultimate is up at this point. He does have it available. And so whenever you go for one of these major objectives, you always got to go in with the idea of we are going to try and DPS this down before they get here, or we are instead going to hit this with the intention of bringing them to us, and then we are going to turn and fight them.
Right.
And as I watch this go through, it's not obvious to me which one Chili's Angels is trying to do. So let's go ahead and play this at about half speed. We'll speed it up just a little bit as we come to the point. So it's around this point where you can't actually DPS this down before the enemy team gets here. So you are forced to decide, are you going to go for a 50-50 smite? Well, some people try and zone the jungler. Or are you going to go for the fight? Are you going to try and turn around and get the fight down? And at this point, you already are up. I don't know if they realize that they're up 7,000 gold, but they definitely know they have an Ocean Soul. They definitely know they have a lead, and they should be able to identify that they can probably run at the other team. So now, if this was me, I'd be calling, we're hitting this Baron to turn. When they get here, we're going to launch Ash Arrow at literally anybody in order to bait out the Kayle ultimate. Because if we do that, they don't have any tools left in order to provide enough threat onto our backline, and we won't have to use the Zilean ult there. We can use it on the front line to make sure that they can continue going forward with complete safety. But what we see from Chili's Angels instead, they throw down this ward in a sec. Oh no, he teleports to a plant. Okay, so either way, Shen teleports in here, and you see this team scatter. They aren't looking to set up to fight, but they are also not hitting the Baron. They're neither turning nor burning at this point. And this is an opportunity, right? Where Beakro, you see that you have Mark Jess, Hyo, and Peach Rose right here in the front. You hit any of these with an Ash Arrow, the fight is instantly over. You win the game. So you have an opportunity here with one of the best engage tools in the game, an incredibly fast Udyr. You can lock somebody down and stun lock them, especially if it's Kayle before the ultimate can go off. But we don't see that. They're not turning, they're not burning. They're unsure of what they do. And as you called out in the game, they'd stop the DPS on the Baron. So this is an opportunity, right? If you teleport Rahul in, you're doing this to zone the rest of the team so you can actually burn down the Baron. Eventually, the other team forces the issue, right? They come in, and now you are forced to decide. And now, because you don't know what you were doing, everything goes to chaos. Right, there's a paranoia, you can't see anything. Even if you have a great team comms during fights, you're like, oh, hit Nocturne, let's go on Kayle, peel back. It doesn't matter because nobody can see anything. Nobody knows what's going on. And so you need to have this plan before the fight actually starts. They let themselves get engaged upon, and this is an opportunity, as we identified, for Riot Beaker to go down. He actually dies in this fight, pretty much the only time at this point in the game where he's likely to die. And so because of this, it's not a close fight, right? They are still 8,000 gold ahead. They managed to smite it. But if this team wasn't 8,000 gold ahead, didn't have the Ocean Soul, this is a situation where Chili's Angels won't have the same success in the future And I think it's a very valuable lesson for all the teams in the tournament to kind of have this plan in your head before you hit the Baron.
Yeah. Communication is super important, as you mentioned. Having that clear objective of what are we trying to do here, as a bait, or are we just trying to kill the Baron? And another good point as well is just even when you look at the end result, that shouldn't be the end all be all. Sometimes, you got away with something there. So definitely good points brought up by Joshi. And I think, a good learning opportunity for everybody as well. So we'll see here if, Chili's Angels, I know they do watch the VODs. They do listen. And we're also seeing here, I think, why Andy Land has been so successful this season. I learned a lot there in that VOD review from Joshi. So congratulations once again to Chili's Angels. It will mean that they are going to move to 7-5 on the season. So still very much in contention for the all-important second seed, which will guarantee them a first-round bye as we are rounding into the playoffs here. And yeah, let's go ahead and hear from Chili's Angels, shall we? Joshi, is there anyone that stands out to you from this game?
I mean, I think we really have to bring in, the captain of the team, Chili, to just kind of talk about what he was doing that game and how he felt. I'd also like to hear from Riot Beakro to kind of talk about what it was like in that game as the kind of extra member on the team in terms of FPS.
All right, sounds good. And add on to that, I think the birthday girl here, Misa142, showing off the Zilean, ended up with the 7-0 and 16 score line. A wonderful performance from her as well on her birthday. So we're gonna start kidnapping some people, as you are very familiar with, Joshi.
For sure.
Okay. So
before we get to the interview, I just want to take a quick moment to talk about Don't Worry We Scale, because I thought that this game not necessarily super indicative of how these guys can play, right? This is a composition that they picked for themselves that we identified at the very beginning is hard to play. And if it does well, it would look really good, right? They would stomp this game if they got ahead, but they didn't. And because of it, because their composition is fairly one-dimensional, it actually looks worse. I think this game looks more dominant than it might have been. So I like the confidence that's coming out from them, but I would encourage them to pick things that are a little bit simpler to execute on, because I think these guys have shown they have some people that can do things in the games. They just need to enable them to do it by not trying to put too much on their plate all up.
Yeah, I agree. And that's the thing I feel like with Don't Worry We Scale is their season has been a season of almost. I think they have a lot of games where they've almost figured it out, whether it's they played a good early game and they kind of slip up in the mid game, or they play an even early game and there's a slip, again, that slip up in the mid game, or even sometimes they'll take a lead into the late game, but just some, crucial decision making not coming up heads around situations like you mentioned, Joshi, where a lot can go wrong at places like Baron. But if they can clean that up, still very much in the playoff picture. No team mathematically eliminated by any shot. So hopefully they can go back to the drawing board and take away a lot of positives from this game. Okay. Meanwhile, though, we are going to hear now from the victors from Chili's Angels. We're joined here by Charles, Chili5, Beakro, and Amisa142, who is unfortunately deafened. Maybe, eating some cake to celebrate this one. But with that, then, my first question going to go to Chili5. A successful debut in the jungle. 4-0-17 on the Udyr. How did it feel to play the run, stun, jobs done man? Charles, are you there?
Can you hear me?
I can now.
Yeah. I'm gonna be honest. Jungle's not fun. I don't like this champion. I don't like playing this role. But hey, you know what? Winning does feel nice sometimes. So I just channeled my inner Calvin, and it was able to happen.
Yeah. So we saw you labbing a lot of different picks throughout the week in the jungle. I know you have a lot more tricks up your sleeve, but why Udyr in this game?
Just prior to this game, Calvin told me that Udyr was free low. Actually, over the course of this week, people have been telling me that Udyr is free low.
Mhm.
So I felt like I'd be trolling if I didn't pick it. It's funny because like we also played a practice game against Jungle Nocturne right before,
Mhm.
so I felt like the lessons were fresh.
So like baiting out the paranoia and then counter ganking. I know I've talked to you a lot about that one. So
Oh, I don't know about. I wasn't thinking about all that. I was just
you just
I
happened to
did.
be in the right place at the right time.
Dude, I six camp cleared at 315. I don't know if you saw that, but
I
I was like,
pointed it out
holy
on the
shit.
stream. Unfortunately, I'm sorry. The stream did not have any display or audio at that time.
Oh no.
But
Oh.
I
True,
called
though.
it out.
He did call it out.
I did call it out. I
I
said
can
that
verify it.
congratulations to Charles on his jungle debut, able to pick up the 315 clear with the leash, and Udyr clears at like 310. But it's okay. It's okay.
It was a really sexy clear. Or sorry,
Yeah,
it was a really sexy leash.
yeah. 315 is the magic number for the jungle, and looks like this lineup might be the magic recipe for Chili's Angels throughout the rest of the season. Speaking of this recipe, we also saw Riot Beakro move into the AD carry position on Ashe. So how did it feel being the only person on your team who felt like was ever dying in team fights, Rohit? Did you miss playing AD carry?
I love playing AD carry. Jungle is the worst role in the game. It's incredibly boring. Like, oh my god, I felt so good not having to hit like neutral monsters for the whole game. Like,
You could hit minions instead, and occasionally the odd champion before they just turned around and murdered you for breakfast.
exactly. And every time I died that game was because I didn't listen to my support. My support was like, "Don't go there," and I'm like, "Nah, I'm good," and then I died. So,
So that's
Ah.
literally
everything
the
was bad.
comms.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you dying, though, meant that Zillion did not. Unfortunately, oh, is Helen back? Helen, I know you're not deafened anymore. Helen? Oh, and now she's back to deafened. Oh my god! Oh no, I really wanted to congratulate Helen on a successful birthday and a really good Zillion game as well, but I guess we'll have to make do with talking to the pair of you two. Was Zillion always in the game plan? Oh, wait, Helen. Helen.
Uh,
Helen?
Yeah. Hi.
Oh, yes. Okay, cool.
Thank
So,
you.
congratulations. Happy birthday once again. Um, what made you decide to go with Zillion this game, Helen? I don't think we've seen this from you yet this season, right?
Yes. I played it a few times in ARAM, and I find it a very fun champion, just to like slow people and then run away. So, yeah, there wasn't much thought behind it.
Have you ever played against Zillion? Because, like, can you empathize with the enemy team here? Imagine
Um,
committing so many resources to kill Rohit here, and then all of a sudden just pops back up as if nothing happened.
I can. I played against Zillions that made my blood boil. So I was like, if I can't beat the enemy, I have to beat the enemy. So
Ooh,
yeah.
that
True.
was good.
Yeah, taking a page out of the age-old adage. Okay.
Also, fuck Zillion.
True. True.
Yeah, I actually had a question for Charles, Rohit, Helen, whoever came up with the idea. One of the things I praised you guys a lot for was the 4-man dive that you guys had in the bot lane, around level, I want to say like 7 or so, where you brought both Shen and Udyr down in order to go for that fight, and you guys ended up winning it decisively, and it looked like one of the best setup things I've seen from you guys all season. So very well done there. But I'm kind of curious what the comms surrounding that were like. How early did you plan that play?
Did we plan that play?
I don't think we played that play. I think we were like,
Wait. Give some credit to Rahul.
Yeah, I think Rahul planned that play.
yeah, maybe
Like,
Rahul should said
Basically,
something.
we saw that we could dive, and Rahul already told us that he had ulti up, and we were stalling for
Yeah.
time because he needed like 5 seconds. So basically, it was like
Oh,
like half a minute before, we decided like we're just gonna do this, and everyone got into position. Props to
Yeah.
Rahul.
Yeah.
Rahul?
Shout out to Rahul.
His Sheneld throughout this whole game saved my butt a lot of times. So yeah,
Mm.
props to Rahul.
Yeah, imagine trying to kill an AD carry through Stand United and Chrono Shift. I would actually mauled out of the fucking earth. I'll be honest.
Yeah, so the
yeah.
one other question I have for you guys then is this expected to be the new face of Chile's Angels? Are you expected to continue playing these roles, or do you think you'll switch back?
Are you trying to figure out what to ban against us, Joshi? Because I'm going to tell you right now, we might switch back on a dime. Okay, you don't even know. All right, you got to ban my mid laners and my junglers. Okay, that's what you got to do from now on.
Or we could just not ban you. I think that's the easier play, right?
Ooh. Well, based on this
Got
game, might be a different angle coming out. Might be a different
We'll
threat.
see.
Yeah. Maybe you guys just keep mixing it up. Maybe next game we see Kuji in the jungle. Maybe we see Helen in the top lane. Maybe we see Rahul pull out Ornn ADC. Who knows? Maybe unpredictability is the name of the game.
At the end of the season, I want every single one of your members to have come onto an interview saying that they hate playing jungle.
True. True. That might just be the new meme. Just have everyone go in the jungle one time, and yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I think you're gonna learn to love it, Charles. Jungle is
Dude,
great.
why would anyone want to play this role? Fucking
Yeah.
psychopaths.
Whoa. Whoa. I'm offended. I'm offended. Okay, but I'm also happy for you guys. Means that your record at 7-5, very much in contention for that number 2 seed. So congratulations to you guys once again. Do you guys have anything you guys want to say to your legions of adoring fans?
Senpai noticed me, Helen. Helen, I bet so much money on your team.
Right. Who's this?
Wow.
Who's this?
Okay,
Damn!
forget it. You know what? You know
just
what?
got
From now on,
curved. You
you
just got
know.
curved, Ryan. Oh my god. You don't even register in Helen's eyes anymore.
Ryan, who?
Okay, you know what? You know what? You know what? I'm unfriending you. You hurt my feeling.
Maybe
Alright,
it's something to keep an eye out on for their next matchup between Ryan's team and Charles's team.
Roger, new
Yep.
catchphrase for you. I know you heard about the Swain game. All right, you know you heard about the big Vict energy. All right, you heard about the do it zigs. Now it's all
Do it
about
Wait,
the
I didn't hear about that one.
fear the deer. Okay, that's the new slogan for the team. You better ban that shit because I don't want to play it. Give me something else.
Okay.
Yeah, dear.
This game seems to have been a cry for help more than anything from Charles. I could hear it in his voice. Get him out of the jungle. But, you know, maybe you should take a look at the end screen there and realize that you might have a career here, Charles. You know, might be the start of something new. And then you can descend into the toxic cesspool that is true jungling. Okay, with that then, going to now look forward to our next set of games. Next week will be the beginning of the final week, I think, of the regular season. So give me a second here to pull up the schedule. Unfortunately for our viewing audience, this weekend is Clash, so we are refraining from scheduling games during Clash. It will mean that our next broadcast should be March 10th at 8 p.m. A matchup here between Support Diff and Don't Worry We Scale. So don't worry, I will always have the week's schedule in my Twitch description so that you guys can come back and watch some more excellent League of Legends gameplay courtesy of our wonderful players here at the Do It Big. I want to give thank you as well to my co-casters for today, Ryan, Daddy No Chill, and Joshi. That was a lot of fun. Hopefully we can do this again. When
Yes,
you're not
sir.
too busy trying to win the league, Joshi, and when you're not too busy trying to fall out of the playoffs, Ryan.
Oh my!
I kid. Okay. But yeah, thank you to the pair of you for a wonderful cast. And apologies again for those technical hiccups at the beginning, but after all, we do live in North America, and what would be North America League of Legends without some NA production? Okay, so with that then, we'll bring the night stream to a close. Good night, Twitch chat. See you on
Bye-bye.
Wednesday.